Hey guys, okay, so I did an unboxing of my newest Erin Condren planner, life planner, and I wanted to show you guys how I utilized it. When I got my first one, which is here, this is their gold edition one, I had said that I would eventually show how I used it, if I thought it was worth it, and I never really did, but I can tell you that I definitely did use it, and obviously I thought it was worth it enough to order a new one for this new year. And so I'm going to show you just briefly how I do it. I don't get quite as involved as some people, but I do have things that I like to do and ways that I like to utilize it. So I'm going to share with you guys that. Okay, again, so before I get into how I actually use my Erin Condren life planner, I just want to remind you that this is not going to be a walkthrough. I've already done one of those, so if you want to just kind of check out what's inside of one of these, you can go and watch that video. This is just going to be how I utilize mine. So moving on, this is my new one, so I've not done much with it yet, but it's still going to give you an idea of how I used it. As you can see, I haven't even filled in anything yet, and this is the Platinum Edition. So getting into it, one thing I do really use is this kind of year at a glance. I absolutely, I don't mark it up, I don't use it like that, but I use it to check dates out constantly. So I always use this page just as a reference. And then as you can see, I didn't even fill in any of this because I still had it filled out in my other planner. So let's go to my bookmark. And this is kind of where I want to start to show you guys how I utilize this. You know what, let's skip to the month first. So the main thing I use with these calendars, and again, this is not very full because it's new, is I really utilize the month at a glance. That is my favorite way to plan. That is just what I do. So as you can see, I just have appointments and events and vacations and things like that. And this will get more and more filled. And like I said, I just opened this. So let me show you an example of how much I use these month at a glance. Here's a good example with appointments. Sometimes I color coordinate where I have a, you know, I can show you these details because they've changed, so it doesn't matter now. But here's a good example where I have one child in one color, other child in other colors. I actually have work notes. I have vacations where I've utilized actual stickers. I've utilized other stickers that these are actually, I can move these around. I do use the note section for little reminders to myself. I find this to be just very helpful because it's just nice for me to be able to look down and look at my month and what's going on, and then to have reminders of important things. It's just very helpful to me. I find this to be just very helpful because it's just nice for me to be able to look down and look at my month and what's going on, and then to have reminders of important things. It's just very helpful to me. I like being able to kind of look at the big picture. That's just how I plan. So here we go. More examples. You can see I actually really do utilize it. And I kind of do my own decorating. Some people use stickers and things like that. And now I want to give you an example of how I utilize the weeks. I do things differently. So as you can see, the way that the weeks are set up, this is their week at a glance, and I love this. And they set it up like this. They suggest using it as this way, as morning, day, and night, and then you've got notations down below where you can put dinner plans, lists, goals, etc. So what I found is I really liked using this week at a glance, but I didn't always want to use it that way. So after playing around with a bunch of different, I don't know, things that work for me, I came up with this. And this is just how I utilize it. I kind of have a work section and a family section and my to-do list section. And I have seen some other people do this similar thing. So you can change these around. And so I don't label each one. You could change the label. But instead of having it done by sections of my day, I just do it like, here's my work-related box for each day, my goals. Here's the family stuff I have going on. And then here's my general to-do list. And then on the side, I'll kind of write extra notations of things that need to be done that I think of, and then I will fill them in to the appropriate spots. And so going back to my new one, which I'm just now starting to work on again, let's go back. Love, by the way, the new see-through ruler bookmark much better to me than the solid one. So I just started using this one, again, this new one that I got in, and I'm doing the same thing. Setting up a work section, family section, and my to-do list section. And then that's how I fill in for my day, and they're kind of like my daily goals, like things I want to do. So if the kids have a doctor's appointment, it would go in the family section. My general to-do list for the day goes in my to-do list section, and obviously work goes in there. That is how I utilize this, and it's very nice. It's very helpful to me. Like I said, this one's not very filled in because it is my new one, so I just started kind of using it right now. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea. I love, love, love having the month at a glance. It's just very helpful to me in particular. I love having the notation section. This will eventually get filled up more as I think of things, and then I end up plugging them in where it fits. And then it's the same way with my weekly. And I do skip days, or I'll have days where I don't fill in anything, as you can see in a week where I actually have it used. It's not like I'm hyper crazy organized and have everything perfect. It's just helpful on the days that I need things to be a little bit more, I guess, maybe just flow better, etc. And so some days I get really involved and I've completely filled it up, and some days I've just filled up one thing or just 2 boxes, but it doesn't matter. The point is that this is how I use it, and you could be inspired. Maybe you want to just make 1 box for recipes, or you want, you don't have to use it the way they say. You can make it work for your life. And so this is the way that I use it. This is how it works for me. And so I really do encourage you to think outside of the box, so to speak, and figure out a way that you can use it in your life that's very helpful to you. You might never use the month at a glance. Maybe you don't like that. Maybe you're just all about the weeks and the weekly things. Or maybe you never use the weeks and you just like using the month at a glance. It doesn't matter. And then the other thing that I really, really utilize very much is the notebooks. You buy these separate and they attach to your book in the back. You can see mine's attached. You pick these out, you buy them, and obviously I haven't used this one yet. But I use these so much just to make basic notes, jot down thoughts, jot down to-do lists that I later transfer to my digital planner, or will end up plugging into the planner here. But I really, really use these notebooks. I think that the notebooks maybe are a little pricey, but then once I realized how much I used them, I just think it's worth it. And you can get any notebook. You don't have to buy one from them, but I just like getting theirs. I can customize it. I have mine kind of goes with my planner, and I like that it fits in here perfect. It just, to me, because of how I use it, I thought it was worth it. I very much use the notepad. And then the tools that I use when doing my planner are, you might have noticed the stickers I use here. These are actually removable stickers. You can pick them up and move them elsewhere, which I like. And I'll put down the link to where I got these. But I actually use highlighters and color them in to make my own kind of color palette. Although my planner, you do get stickers with yours. Some of them are pre-labeled as like games, appointments, etc. But you also get a bunch of blank ones. And I know sometimes people will just pick a color and they'll use that color for their child. Some people do that with a color of ink. There's all kinds of things you can do. So, like with me, I usually make 1 color that's for vacations, 1 color that's for holidays, etc. And then I'll just use them for other things. Also, I ordered my own set of personalized stickers. I have some for my YouTube related events, and then I've got ones for each of my children color coordinated. So I do use those as well. But I like kind of having my own labels to use, and they're clear. These are just the ones I've used, but I color some of them to just have a color palette, but you don't have to do that. And I've seen people who do label theirs differently, like me. They'll put these stickers on each day. I find that, I know that I mean that this one that says night is for to do, so I just kind of do it at the beginning, but it's up to you. The other thing I really like are, I use these highlighters, but they're very mild And so I like them. I can highlight things and they're not going to overpower. They're very soft, kind of muted, but they're still really pretty. And I just bought these on Amazon. So I really like these pens. The style pen is actually very popular for people in the planning community. I like them. They're very fine point. The colors are really good. It shows up, it's vibrant. I like to have a lot of color choices, so I do like these. They don't bleed almost at all. Maybe a little that you can see through written. You can see just a tiny bit through if you've written dark like me, like where I've colored. But for the most part, you don't see through. So very minor like bleed through. Those were my favorite, but now these have actually become my favorite. I love these. Now the reason I like these is because the colors are very vibrant and bold, which is great, but the real kick is that they are erasable. These are pens, but they're erasable pens. It's fantastic. Now they don't erase perfect. Let me show you an example. As you can see, I erased something here and you can still see it a little bit, but if I had written over that, you wouldn't even know that that was there. So you can see it a little bit, but not much. So I just love having erasable pens, and they have even more colors than these. I just got this set to try, and I'm in love with them, so I definitely utilize those. And I do like having the stickers that you can peel and remove and push into, they're replaceable. I'm pretty sure that the new Erin Condren ones, that these are replaceable, you can move these around too. But I like that because then if I've made a label for something and it's changed, I just pick up the label and move it, and that's very nice. So, and that is how I utilize my Erin Condren Life Planner. If you guys want, I have a 10% off code down below. This isn't because I'm sponsored by them. I'm absolutely not. Everybody gets this referral code whenever you buy a planner from them. So you can use mine and get 10% off of yours. I used somebody else's when I first got mine. It doesn't matter. And yeah, everybody gets that code. So you are welcome to use mine if you want. It gives you 10% off. And then you just can go to their site and check it out, and there you go. And you can get 12 months or 18 months, however you like to do it. I actually, I technically got the 18 month because I had it start the last couple of months of this year. But really, I just prefer 12 months. I like to, with my calendars, I prefer just doing them that way. Like maybe I actually do 12 or 13, or I do 13 or 14 months, but I like just a kind of a yearly thing. So, and if you want kind of a walkthrough of the actual planner, go and check out the video I did where I unboxed it and walked through it, as well as my video I did when I first got the gold edition one. There you go. I hope that maybe inspired you on different ways that you could use yours. As I mentioned, there are people who get way more creative than me. They use all kinds of like fancy tapes and stickers and stuff, and I love it. I think it's great. I don't go quite as far as that. Maybe one day I will, but I do utilize it the way I do, and I like it a lot. I just really find it to be helpful to me and feeling more organized, more in control of my life. I'm very much a digital person, and so I was concerned when I first got these that even though I used to love having a physical planner, that maybe nowadays I wouldn't, but I can absolutely tell you guys I use my digital planning still just as much. I also just love having this physical planner. I just love it. It just really focuses me, and there we go. Okay, so there you go. That's how I use my planner, and maybe it'll inspire different ways that you could use yours. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will talk to everybody in the next video. Bye guys.